From Hawthorne High School, Hawthorne Lawndale Community Cable Television presents the second round of the CIF playoffs. I'm Mike Kennedy along with Brandon Nash, and welcome to Hal Cap Field. Tonight, the Hawthorne Cougars, with a record of 8-3 and a 6-game winning streak, will host St. Bonaventure, the #1 seed, and a record of 10-1. Last year, 58-10, St. Bonaventure embarrassed the Hawthorne Cougars. It's payback, Brandon.
Yeah, Hawthorne, they're looking to get some give back, I guess you would say, on last week's game. I mean, on last year's game, it was a very embarrassing loss, right out here, right in front of some fans of theirs at St. Bonaventure. But at the same time, it was a younger team last year with Hawthorne. They were a first year. They had first gotten to the playoffs. It was a first round deal for Hawthorne, and they were quite young. This year, they've got a little more experience, a lot more speed, a lot bigger, and of course, like from last week, they've got magic on their side. Their quarterback, number 10, he's done a lot of things for them with his legs, along with his arm. We should see some big things out of him this week, it being the second round.
A 14-10 winner over Channel Islands. Magic throws 2 scores, but also we can look for Alex Gaines, who's over the 1,200 mark rushing.
Yeah, Alex is another one of their big stars. He should have a big game tonight, even though it might seem as if Hawthorne might be overmatched. With Alex Gaines running the football, you never know what could happen. This is football. It's the second round of the playoffs. This is the time when the young players, they play with heart, they play with fire, they play with a lot of things that just aren't coachable. Alex Gaines has got a lot of those things. We should look for Coach Otelling to look for him early and often to do some big things for Hawthorne.
And the defense has got to play their best game of the year against Matt Lee, who's rushed for the 3rd straight year over 1,000 yards for St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice matchup between Terrell Kendall, the middle linebacker, and Matt Lee. They're going to probably be smashing heads a lot. Him going over 1,000 yards, 3rd year in a row. You know he runs hard. I was just looking at him just now during their warm-ups. He's got some serious explosion. So it's going to be a big test for Hawthorne's defense. If they can step up, stop their big weapons on offense for St. Bonaventure, see if they can make some plays early in the game, get some big stops.
Rufus Washington will join us with the play-by-play. It's St. Bonaventure and the Hawthorne Cougars, the second round of the CIF playoffs. We'll be back with the opening kickoff.
Good evening, fans, and welcome to another exciting Channel 22 sports presentation, courtesy of Hawthorne Lawndale Community Cable Channel 22. I'm Rufus Washington, joined this evening, as always, by my partner, Michael Kennedy. We are here at Hal Cap Field as you watch the Hawthorne Cougars take the field in this second round CIF Southern Section 2004 Division IV playoff game. They're playing host to the Serifs of St. Bonaventure, coming out of Ventura County. This is a rematch of a first-round CIF Southern Section playoff game from the 2003 season when the Hawthorne Cougars made the trip up to Moore Park College, where that game was played. They were hosted by the Serifs of St. Bonaventure. Came away a very disappointing evening for the Cougars, but we're a year later, and the Cougars are out seeking revenge tonight, Michael.
And they're on a roll, Rufus. They've won 6 straight, including last week's 14-10 victory over Channel Islands. But let's talk for a minute about this team from St. Bonaventure. They are 4-time state champs. They were defeated last year in the championship game by a score of 28-7. They won the Division IV 3 times before they were. Prior to that, they were in Division 9 and Division 8. Now, other winners last week. As we kick it off, we'll get back to that.
Cougars do kick off first, and They appear to have attempted an onside kick. It goes for naught as St. Bonaventure recovers near the midfield stripe. Not exactly the way you want to get the ball game started, having a team like the Seraphs work from midfield. So they've got excellent field position. They spot the ball officially at their own 49-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for St. Bonaventure.
Well, Matt Lee is their talented tailback. For the 3rd straight year, he has rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Samson Zakasi is the quarterback. Handoff keeps it on the ground initially. They pick up a good 6-7 yards on the carry. Handling the running back duties for them, that's Matt Lee, 5'9", 186-pound senior.
Last week, Matt Lee had 229 yards on the ground with 27 carries and 2 touchdowns, including an 85-yard and a 12-yard touchdown run.
So it is a 2nd down and 2 now for the Seraphs. Opening drive of the ball game. They fake the handoff. Sasamsky rolling out right. Finally drug down over on the Cougar sideline as he approached the 40-yard line. They'll spot him at about the 43, maybe the 44.
Just another note on Matt Lee. In last week's 29-14 victory, with those 2 touchdowns, that has put him over the 1,000-yard mark again.
The Cougars, of course, knowing that they face a stiff challenge going against this very talented St. Bonaventure team, as my partner mentioned earlier, a perennial champion here in Southern California. And of course, as we said before, the Cougars last year played this team in the 1st round on their home field, and it was a tough challenge. But that was then, this is now. Cougars are expecting better things, and we're here to bring it to you, courtesy of Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22 on a 3rd and short play to keep it on the ground as a flag comes in from the back judge.
Well, it looks like he'll be close to a 1st down. This is a 10-1 squad. Head coach John Mack, their lone defeat, 24-7 to Division I team Lakewood. There's a face mask penalty called against the Cougars. So that is their lone defeat. They have won 25 of their last 26 ball games. And now they're going to add more yardage to that 1st down.
One of the kinds of things in a contest like this, Michael, that the Cougars can ill afford, first of all, will be turnovers. Secondly, will be penalties, all of which will make what is already going to be a very challenging task even more challenging. So again, Samson Zakasi, the quarterback. There's a flare out in the left. Indication from the official is that it's incomplete. Of course, if that had been a lateral, it would have been a live ball. The incompletion makes it a 2nd down and 10 now.
Well, that was intended for Corey Finnerty, his favorite target. Last week, he had 66 yards rushing and had another 14 receiving and scored 1 touchdown in that 29-14 win over Moore Park.
So 2nd down and 10 play. Cougars come with a blitz. Short pass made, reception made at the line of scrimmage. It'll go for no gain on the play.
Well, it was Tui Halamaka with the blitz coming right up the middle, along with Fanua, and putting a lot of pressure on that quarterback.
Good defensive effort by the Cougars, as you see on the replay there. Lee with the reception, brought down at the line of scrimmage, makes it a 3rd down and 10 now. Big 3rd down play for this Cougar defense. The quarterback drops back to pass, looks to pass, pursuit is there, and he's taken down by Vincent Atofu, number 5.
Well, back-to-back plays for Hawthorne sent the tempo now. They shut out Channel Island last week in the 2nd half in a 14-10 victory. And with those back-to-back blitzes, they've shown that this is a different squad from last year's very young and inexperienced team that was beaten 58-10. There's a flag on a 4th down punt.
Play is, whistle blows the play dead. It's a procedure penalty against The Serifs of St. Bonaventure, as we said, they're out of Ventura County. And this is going to back them up 5 more yards. Back to receive the punt for the Cougars is number 1, Marcus Butler. Butler on the far side of the field. Here on the near side is number 4, Taj Johnson. Punt will now take place from about the 36-yard line. Cougars should get it in pretty good field position. No fair play call. The reception made by Butler at the 25-yard line. So with 9:32 left in the first quarter, Cougars get the ball for the first time on offense here in this second round CIF 2004 playoff game.
Well, this will give us our first opportunity to look at this Cougar offense led by Magic Na'a, who last week threw 2 touchdown passes, and one of them with 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining to Marcus Butler to ensure a come from behind in a 14-10 win. Completed 15 of 22 for over 220 yards.
As you said, Na'a, there you see him, number 10 under center at quarterback. Of course, we know in the backfield with him, and now this play is going to be blown dead before it ever gets underway. In that backfield with him will be the feature back of the Cougar rushing attack, that of course being Alex Gaines. We'll also undoubtedly see number 45, Vuna Tuihalamaka, as well.
Well, Gaines has rushed for over 1,250 yards. He has 9 100 rushing yard games already on the season.
Cougar fans continuing to stream into the stadium. This time they keep it on the ground. The handoff here is to a Tofu with a short gain on the play.
Well, that's something that the Cougars did last week. They opened up with Gaines out of the lineup and used some of their power big backs, Otofu along with Fanua, in their first series against Channel Islands.
Gaines is in there now along with Tuihalamaka. They line up. As you can see, Tuihalamaka is the up back. Now they split. They're in I formation. Here's a pitch back to Gaines. Alamaka blocking. Gaines with the pass. Gaines lays it up. The reception made in Serif territory by Marcus Butler.
Well, now that's 10 completions out of 17 attempts for a halfback option thrown by Gaines. 10 of 15, including 2 scores, and here's another look at it. And when you've got Marcus Butler going up to out-jump the defenders, he's a key receiver, and that's what he did last week with the winning touchdown thrown by Magic Na'a. Now there's a penalty against the Cougars. Unsportsmanlike conduct will take it all the way back. And they're going to place it at about the 37-yard line.
Takes it back to the 37. You're right, Michael. And again, this is the second penalty against the Cougars. This one a little more serious, a 15-yarder. They were at the 48-yard line of St. Bonaventure. Dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct moves them back to their own 37. Na'a keeps it himself. Looks like he wanted to hand off, but the running back fled the scene, so he was forced to keep it himself. Picks up maybe a yard on the play.
The St. Bonaventure team is out of the Channel League. Teams like Ventura, San Marcos, Dos Pueblos, Santa Barbara, and Bueno are in the league, and they went 5-0 in league play and 10-1 overall. They are the #1 seed here in Division 4, and they meet the Cougars in this second round. But thank goodness the Cougars get a home game for the second consecutive week of the playoffs.
7.5 clock running left in the first quarter. Handoff this time on the inside. They pick up a short gain on this play. That's number 4, Taj Johnson, with the carry. So we've seen Alex Gaines do his thing. Unfortunately, not in his customary role of running the ball, but instead Gaines made one completion. So he's 1 for 1, batting 1,000 in the passing department. Still looking to see Alex take off with it from the ground on a rushing play. Third down, 4 play now from the 44-yard line. Swing pass out in the flat. Reception made. Should be enough for the first down. That's Marcus Butler. And from where the officials are standing and the referee gives the indication that it is a first down.
Well, those are the favored targets. We're both out on the near side. Glenn Bernard, who caught a touchdown pass last week, and Marcus Butler, who had the winning score in the final closing minutes. So they pick up the first down at the 48 and keep possession, and it keeps their defense off the field, and their defense did an outstanding job in that first series against St. Bonaventure.
Gains the lone back. Now we've got another flag on the play. This may be, they're counting the number of players on the field. At least that's what the side judge was doing. And now the referee waves it off, indicating that there is no flag. Apparently the side judge thought that there may have been 12 Cougars on the field, took a head count. We could see him counting from our vantage point, saw that there were only 11, so the flag was waved off.
Now Hawthorne's going to take a timeout, and that's unusual. Take a timeout on your first possession.
On your first possession and a first down play at that. It's a Cougar ball, 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. We've got 6:34 left here in the first quarter of a scoreless contest. Mike, give us a picture of what this...
Let me bring you up to date on the other winners last week. Royale beats San Marcos. They advanced to the second round. They'll meet San Luis Obispo that defeated Camarillo. So they're in the bracket here with St. Bonaventure and Hawthorne. In the bottom bracket, it's Thousand Oaks over Arroyo Grande, and Ventura defeated Santa Monica out of the Ocean League, and then Culver City lost to Agura. So in the bottom bracket, it's Thousand Oaks and Ventura against Agura. Make that San Luis Obispo and Thousand Oaks against Ventura and Agura. So we're down to 8. And the next week we'll go to the semifinals. We're back to action.
And we'll also give you some travel plans, folks. In the as we look on the optimistic side, now falls down. That play should be blown dead per rule, and it is. Now took the snap from center as he was pulling out. Somehow another slip, went to the ground, and again, in high school football, you're automatically down once you are in possession of the ball and make contact with the ground.
For St. Bonaventure to go 10-1, their lone loss to the Division I school, Lakewood, 24-7. Lakewood is the number 4 ranked team in Division I CIF, and they're a 10-1 team with their only loss to the number 1 seed, Long Beach Poly.
And I'll develop that story for you in a minute as that pass by Naha falls incomplete. Lakewood and Los Alamitos, and I mentioned Los Alamitos, and I follow the Griffins because that's where my son attends school, and that's our community high school. They're on a collision path with the Lancers of Lakewood. Two very good football teams. Of course, they both have games tonight that they're playing that they're in need of winning. Los Alamitos is at Bishop Amat tonight, and I don't have the Lakewood schedule, but I do know that they're in competition tonight as well, and if both teams win out, they'll face each other next weekend. But back here at Halcap Field, it's a 3rd and 12. Naha drops back to pass, and pass is incomplete as he overthrows his intended receiver, Glenn Bernard. So the Cougars will be forced to punt the ball away.
Well, he was under plenty of pressure from the outside linebacker, Kyle Maddox, 6', 210-pound junior. It was right in his face, and he had to unload a little quicker than he expected.
Kick is up. Nice high punt. Punt got in the way. The return is on by St. Bonaventure. The return man heads to the far side of the field where he's brought down by a host of Cougars led by number 42, Jonathan Brooks O'Neill.
Well, it was a nice return by Derek Wilson. He tried to get blockers on the outside, but the gunners were down there for Hawthorne. And once your gunners are down there first, it looks like there may be a penalty back here where the punter was, and it may come back with roughing the kicker. There was 3 guys from the Seraphs with a blitz right up the middle against the punter. And now they're at midfield discussing what the penalty would be. And would give Hawthorne a first down. Point in against St. Bonaventure. I want to call them the Bonnies. There's ref.
Well, it's another one of those odd calls. Well, we didn't get a clear indication from the official, but here's what we do know. Looks like the ball is going to remain in the possession. Well, no, it's not going to remain in the possession of the Cougars. Looks like it's going to be St. Bonaventure's ball. Still waiting yet for an indication. The indication from the referee is that someone kicked a player, and apparently that was a Hawthorne Cougar player from the indication, and nonetheless, it's St. Bonaventure's ball, 1st and 10. As they keep it on the ground, giving it to Lee. Lee with some serious running room before he's slammed to the ground. Looks
Alex
like
Gaines just picks him up and drops him. So here's a little payback from one running back to his counterpart with the Seraphs.
picked up 9 to take it out to the 29-yard line, where it's a 2nd down and 1 for the Seraphs. Blitz there by the Cougars. That pass in the flat, they rule it incomplete. And quite frankly, that's a fortunate call for the Seraphs. Looked like a completion and fumble from our vantage point. But the officials say it's incomplete. So it will be, and in fact, it was
Tui Halamaka with the hit, and it did look like he had possession and then was upended and the ball popped out. And Hawthorne would have had excellent field position inside the 30.
1. Cougar defense lets Lee off the hook there as he gets enough to pick up the 1st down, crossing the 35-yard line, taking it out to about the 38, where it will be 1st and 10.
Well, he reminds me a lot of a former St. Bonaventure running back. We're talking about Lorenzo Booker now at Florida State. He's got the same size and stature and breakaway speed.
So, 1st and 10 for the Seraphs. Pass out in the flat. Nice swing pass there. Will go for about 7 on the play, maybe even 8, as they get the ball out to the 47-yard line.
Ricky Garcia makes the reception on just a quick slant pass and picks up another 9 yards.
Our field tonight in remarkably good condition. Of course, it's been a very clear and crisp week all week here in Southern California. A beautiful night for football. Cougar defense being forced to stiffen. Now we've got flags coming in, and this may be a delay of game against St. Bonaventure. A procedure penalty instead is the call by our referee, Doug Turner. The umpire, Jeff Shearer. Line judge, Tim Troya. Head linesman, Mike Davis. And the back judge in tonight's crew is Jim Stickney. So it's a 2nd down and 6 now. Cougar rush gets there, led by number 76 of the Cougars, that was Desi Perez, who got in there. So a couple of times tonight, Mike, the Cougar defense has come up real big and taken St. Bonaventure out of short distance situations and put them in long, and right now they're looking at a 3rd and 12.
Well, he was buried back about the 33, and they gave him progress across the 35. Bears up the middle, excellent job.
The suits there again right now. Cougar defense doing a good job. This is going to be close. We're going to have flags on the play, and I tell you, this looks like it's going to be a face mask call, and if so, that probably is going to go against the Cougars.
They came back to Garcia again with that real quick slant pattern. He's a sprint out on the right side, and they hit him about 5 yards across the line of scrimmage. He's close to the first down, but here's a penalty against St. Bonaventure, an unusual call if it is, aiding the runner because he was stopped short of the first down, and then there was a surge that pushed him forward. Here's the call. That's it, aiding the runner. And so Hawthorne had already had 3 penalties, and now we've had 3 against St. Bonaventure.
Remains third down. However, now it's a 3rd and about 7. They show it on the scoreboard as we've got 3:05 clock running left as a 3rd and 7. So it's been a day of strange football calls, and we'll develop that point in a minute. But this one is called aiding the runner. Here's a swing pass out there, and it's incomplete. Good defense there for the Cougars by Taj Johnson.
So it's incomplete, brings up a 4th down. Pass is intended for Tafoya.
So back deep to receive the punt for the Cougars, setting up just inside their 30 at about the 26 and 27-yard line respectively are Butler and Taj Johnson. This one looks like it's going to head toward Johnson. Johnson signals for the fair catch, but the ball sails out of bounds at about the 32-yard line, fans. So with 2:48 left here in the first quarter, we've got a scoreless contest. Cougars get the ball for their 2nd possession of tonight's contest.
Well, it's been a short week of preparation for the Cougars, and Coach Art Hawthorne has done an excellent job getting his defense ready, because last year this team was down 35-0 at halftime and losing 58-10, and they certainly have held up well in this opening quarter.
Gaines with the carry. Gaines trying to turn the corner. Gaines hog-tied. Grabbed up around the shoulder pads in the neck area. No flag on the play. Looks like it could have been close to a face mask, but no flag. So it will be a 2nd down play, and they're actually going to say there was a loss of yardage on the play, a loss of about 3 yards.
Well, here's another look at it. Michael Williams makes the tackle, grabs him around the neck, the helmet area, and you're right, it could have been a face mask penalty and maybe even 15 yards if he'd have twisted.
So a 2nd and 12. Naha drops back the pass. Naha loops one up, makes it a jump ball intended for Butler, and now we've got a flag on the play.
Flight comes in late. Doug Chavez is defending. But the way Magic throws those deep balls, it's every time it's a jump ball. You know, he doesn't really throw it on a line. He just gets it up with plenty of distance, but it's really a sky ball. And then the defender has an equal shot to go for it with the offensive receiver, and it's a dangerous pass play. And now could be a penalty against St. Bonaventure.
Referee, the officiating crew concurring on the field. While they're doing that, gives us an opportunity to remind you that the angel tree lighting ceremony will be Wednesday, December 1st. Starts at 6 p.m. at the Lawndale Community Center. There will be treats, entertainment, carolers, and best of all, get your picture taken with Santa Claus. There will be fun for the whole family. Kick off the Christmas holidays with the City of Lawndale. For more information, call the city at 310-973-3200.
Well, the penalty is against St. Bonaventure. Should be a 10-yard penalty. Still short of the first down. Now they'll move the chains and give them an automatic first down.
They give them an automatic. It was just enough. It brings it out to the 44-yard line now. Got 1:05 left in the first quarter. Been a rather lengthy first quarter here, marred by a number of penalties against both teams. Here's Gaines with the carry. Gaines looks inside, picks up about 4 on the carry.
Some excellent blocking up front from junior Christian Romero, trying to open up a hole on the left side of the line.
And they say Gaines' knee went down first rather than where the ball was spotted. They give him a gain of about 2.5 on the play, so to make it a second down and a long 7 for the Cougars. Scoreless first quarter thus far. Nah drops back to pass. Nah in trouble. Nah pulls it down, breaks a couple of tackles. He's going to pick up maybe 1 or 2 yards on the play.
Boy, St. Bonaventure comes with a lot of pressure right up the middle. They've got a big defensive line, and Magic is able to escape, but doesn't pull any rabbit out of the hat on that one. Just gets a short gain.
Now they bring number 45, Vonatui Alamake, into the lineup. Alamake lines up in the backfield. Out of the eye, they split. He's back there along with Alex Gaines. Here's the pitch to Gaines. Tui Halamaka leading the block and trying to turn it outside. That ball's fumbled. Gaines tries to get on it. The Sarahs think they have it, and the officials agree with them.
Battling with it was Villaseñor, and it looked like he may have come up with it. But once they stripped the ball, a whole host of gold and green uniforms swarmed right to the attack. Here's Tui Halamaka, gets a block on the outside against Liarnzo, and then the ball is stripped and pops out.
Good call by the official that it was a fumble. The block by Tui Halamaka, it appeared that he didn't hold it quite long enough to allow Gaines to decide his direction. And of course, by then the defensive pursuit got to him and forced the fumble. So as we wind down our first quarter, 15 seconds left, probably the final play of the first quarter, although the quarterback brings them up to the line. We're under 10 seconds. I don't think they'll take a snap here as we approach 3, and it doesn't appear that, well, they do take the snap at the very last second. That's Lee running. Lee is going to make it into the end zone. Touchdown.
You know, he's fast enough. He got to the end zone before the clock ran out.
That was a 35-yard touchdown run by Matt Lee. And I got to tell you, that was awfully close when they snapped that one to the scoreboard showing no time on the clock. I can guarantee you, fans, it was inside of 2 seconds and the clock was running. I was looking right at it. Officials say it's good, though, so we have a 35-yard touchdown run by Matt Lee as time expires at the end of the first quarter. Extra point attempt coming up for the Sarahs.
All I can say is speed. Speed kills. He got to the hole from the 35. Once he was 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, you couldn't stop him. He was gone. He outran everybody in a blink of an eye. He was in the end zone.
Kick is up, and it is good. So the Cougars play great football for 11 minutes and 59 seconds. And in the bat of an eye, a 35-yard touchdown run by Matt Lee puts the Sarahs of St. Bonaventure on top as we end the first quarter by a score of 7-0, which means it's time for us to go down sideline to our erstwhile sideline reporter, Brandon Nash.
Thank you, Rufus. Right now, the defensive struggle between both teams just broke open. You saw Hawthorne came out very aggressive, not trying to have a repeat of last year's first half. They came out, hit St. Bonaventure in the mouth really, really hard. Then St. Bonaventure, what just happened? Turnovers. The biggest thing I always talk about every week is the keys to victory, and that's turnovers. Right now, Alex Gaines fumbled, led right to a Matt Lee touchdown. He ran for 37 yards. Hawthorne got to get some rhythm back, get some momentum. They were very excited, had a lot of cheering going on here down the sideline. All players very excited for their defense, chanting them on. And this just now kind of a little demoralizer. Coach Hotelling got to get his guys going right back for the second quarter. Get back out there, get back to even in the turnover ratio. Right now they're -1. We'll see what they can come up with here in the second quarter. Back to you guys upstairs.
Thank you very much, Brandon. And as I said, I think the key thing there was the demoralizing factor more than anything else. Under the circumstances that last score came, that's one of those kind of scores that can really deflate you. So it'll be up to the Cougars, the players, and their coaching staff, and of course the fans assembled at Hellcat Field to put some energy back into this team as the kickoff sails down to the 1 yard line. Butler with the return. Butler turns the corner on the far side. Butler crosses the 20 before he's pushed out of bounds, and now he's got late flags coming in. So now we'll have to see, Michael, how this flag affects this play. It would appear, and I say that very cautiously, that this may go against St. Bonaventure.
Well, it was a nice return. He got blockers to the outside and hit the sideline, and it looks like unsportsmanlike. Here's a dead ball call against St. Bonaventure, and that turns a nice 30-yard return, and it takes it all the way out to midfield.
Well, to the 40 to be exact, is where they'll place it. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Cougars here. Second quarter action just underway, fans. Cougars trailing right now by a margin of 7-0. So they're on the prowl looking to get it back. Here's Gaines with the carry. Gaines turns it up inside. Gaines still on his feet. Gaines picks up 9 yards on the carry. Makes it a 2nd and short for the Cougars, which gives them a couple of offensive options now.
Well, with Gaines again spinning like he does, that ball was almost stripped away, and that set up the last score for St. Bonaventure as his turnover was converted, and that's something that's hurt this Cougar team all season long. He's got to double up, cover over on the ball, and now a flag.
Now they've got a flag on. Wow. And here's what our hope is that this doesn't turn into the flag fest that we've seen some other games become. The official Doug Turner over talking to Coach Al Hotelling, giving him an explanation as to what this call is going to be.
Well, unofficially now that's 5 penalties against Hawthorne. We've got unsportsmanlike against the Cougars.
And those are mental mistakes that you can't afford. We aren't quite sure what precipitated that call. It's a very interesting one nonetheless. That's one we'll hope that Brandon can give us some indication as to what done that. I'm not sure actually that it occurred in the field of play, Michael. That may have been something that occurred on the sideline. Here's Gaines with the 1st down carry.
Yeah, the side judge wants to keep the sideline area cleared, and after he warns coaches and players to be back at least 3 yards so that they can operate up and down the sideline, after a warning, he might go ahead and flag you, and it might be something on the bench regarding coaches and players getting too close to that sideline, and he's not able to operate by getting up and down the field.
So the carry by Alex Gaines gets him back near the original line of scrimmage, which was the 40. Excuse me. They need to get right to midfield, just to nose of it across midfield to pick up the 1st down. Naha back looking to pass. Naha fumbles. Ball is loose, and the Seraphs are going to recover. A recovery made by number 18. That's Carlton Gillespie.
Back-to-back possessions and turnovers. And St. Bonaventure is going to try and take advantage right now and take it to the Cougars.
And you're right. The key here right now is that the first St. Bonaventure score came off of a turnover, and right now they get excellent field position courtesy of another turnover by the Cougars on the fumble by Naha. The quarterbacks are Casey. No, they've switched quarterbacks. That's Evans under center now. Although they keep the ball on the ground, they pick up about 5 on the carry, maybe even 6.
Evans last week had 2 touchdown passes, one of 41 yards to Lee, another one of 12 yards to Tafoya. So they've got 2 outstanding quarterbacks. And now here in the second quarter, we see Evans handed off to Lee.
Lee with the carry again. Lee slipping tackles. I mean, he's as slippery as an eel. As he gets a look, what would appear to be, from our vantage point, enough for the first down, as he's inside the 15 at about the 13-yard line. 9:35 left here in the first half. St. Bonaventure leading by a score of 7-0, and they've got the football now knocking on the door yet again, courtesy of a Cougar turnover. Cougars show blitz. Cougars come with it. Swing pass over the middle. This one will take them down near first down territory, as the reception was made by Ricky Garcia.
Garcia with 3 receptions, and each one of them has picked up at least 10 yards. And now they're inside the 3, knocking at the goal.
So the Cougars digging themselves a deep hole here. This is Lee with the carry. Big hit, but I think he crossed the goal line. No indication yet from the official.
It was Magic Na'a who just leveled him at the goal line, and they've scored it a touchdown because they put it back at the 3 for the extra point.
Well,
not
that
much of an indication by the referee,
right,
but they've already lined up for the extra point, so we've got to give him Lee his second score on the night.
And that one comes at the 8:59 mark of the second quarter, a 3-yard run by Lee. Now we got a flag on the play, one of many that we've had tonight.
Well, they play a lot of smash mouth football, even though they've picked up the penalty on the extra point. Lee with 2 scores tonight, and 3 straight years rushing over 1,000 yards for the Seraphs.
So the penalty will make the extra point attempt a little more difficult, but not by much. The kick is up, and it is good. So with that, our score now stands 14-0 in favor of the Seraphs of St. Bonaventure, as we've got just under 9 minutes left here in the first half on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Both scores, fans, as we've told you, coming by way of turnovers.
Well, their first score, they went 3 yards and about 44 yards in 3 plays for the score, and it was a 35-yard touchdown run. Now the second drive, following Na'a's fumble, they go 23 yards and 3 plays, and Lee takes it in from 2 yards out. So they really capitalize. They force you to hold on to the ball, and then they take advantage of the turnovers, and they've got 2 scores.
Cougars obviously in a hole here.
I'm not sure what John Mack's upset. He's the head coach across the way, talking to Josh Tafoya. But Coach, we're leading 14-0.
And thus far, this one being a bit more of a hard-fought contest than it was last year's, but nonetheless, the Cougars right now find themselves in a hole. Of course, there's still plenty of football time left. Here's the kickoff, high, deep kick. Gaines, they reverse it. Gaines with the carry. Gaines brings it out to about the 27-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Butler took the kickoff, then came to the near side and handed off to Gaines. I don't think they fooled anybody, because it was a pretty obvious handoff on the reverse, and then Gaines brings it back. Some of the pep squad here for the Cougars enjoying tonight's second-round playoff game on Hawthorne Lawndale Community Cable Television, Channel 22.
On the center, again, a mishandle. Looks like the Cougars recovered this. And they do. That was Nahar recovering his own fumble. I tell you, the Cougars are better protect this football, and this one could get ugly real fast, Michael. This St. Bonaventure team, quite frankly, is too good a football team to make these kind of mistakes against and have any reasonable expectation of winning the game.
Yeah, and their swarming defense forces you to take care of the ball. Here comes a play from the sideline with Marcus Butler.
Crowd here trying to keep the Cougar faithful in the contest. Now dropping back to pass, swings it over to Runatui Alamaka. The official says the ball is still live. And if so, looks like the Cougars may have recovered.
Now he's signaling an incomplete pass. At first, he gave no indication. He shrugged it off and stood there and looked at the players. And we were both waiting for an indication what had happened. And he was standing right in the middle of where the loose ball was, and there was a big scramble for it. He was going to blow his whistle and indicate incomplete pass right away. He doesn't have to wait.
And you're right, absent any indication, the players read that clearly as the ball is still live. And of course, from our vantage point, we read the exact same thing as the players on the field would read. An unfortunate break for the Cougars, though. They do indicate it as a incompletion. It is a 3rd and long. Now back to pass. Now throws an interception. Now this interception taken by number 40. He turns it upfield, taken down at the 15-yard line. That was Michael Williams with the interception.
So it's a 15-yard return for Williams, and again, now they're in the red zone. Here's another look at it. Now throws it right into double coverage. Williams is right in front of the receiver, and just all he could do was catch it. You know, there was no doubt about it. It was thrown right to him before Magic makes the tackle and saves a touchdown at the 15.
This time the quarterback throws behind his intended receiver, which happened to be Josh DeFoya.
There's Coach Art getting a defensive call from up in the press box area, trying to find out a defense that'll work against Matt Lee. I think the best defense he had was back in the first quarter when they blitzed every time.
Exactly.
Just send everybody.
Michael, right now the Cougars already in a deep hole. They've got to the best of their ability. Here's Lee with the carry. Lee in the open field. Lee running. Finally taken down from behind by a Tofu, but not until he gets inside the 5-yard line. Down maybe to the 4, if not the 3.
That'll give him a 1st and goal on an 11-yard pickup.
And what I was about to say was exactly what we didn't want to see happen, knowing that the Cougar defense needing to do their very best to try to force a turnover here. What you don't want to do is go down to this team by 21 points here in the first half. Here's a pitch back to Lee. Lee turns it up. Lee skips into the end zone. He's brought down by number 2, Terrell Kendall, but not until after he crossed the end line. So that's Matt Lee's 3rd touchdown of the night, and it comes at the 7:01 mark. So in about 2 minutes, they've scored 14 points.
Well, it's the 3rd touchdown for Lee, but it's the 3rd touchdown that they've had to go a short field on turnovers by the Cougars. 2 fumbles and a pass interception, and that's just like handing 21 points right to your opponent. That is a tough hole to dig yourself out of.
Kick is up and good, as you saw. So with that, that extends the St. Bonaventure lead now to 21-0 over our Hawthorne Cougars on Hawthorne Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22.
Now Hawthorne's got to take better control of the ball.
Well, it's as simple as that. I would agree with you, Michael. I mean, yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure out. If you've got 3 turnovers and they've got 21 points, I'd stop turning the ball over.
And you give them a short field. I mean, they've had to go 3 plays, and 2 plays, and they're in the end zone with 21 points. They haven't even had to work for it. I mean, at least if you make a turnover and then they drive 80 yards on you, they've earned it. But you've just given them 3 scores.
And that's a very salient point that you make, Michael, because when St. Bonaventure did have to work from distance, the Cougar defense has held them every time. But it's these short field situations, particularly when the field's only 15 yards, that really the Cougar defense has been overwhelmed, in part because they've been on the field quite a long time in addition to that. Kickoff travels back to number 1, Butler. Butler brings it across the 20. Butler gets it out to the 30. Crowd thought he maybe had a seam, but it closed up rather quickly on him at the 30-yard line. Well, there are no 21-point plays, first of all, so you just got to play good basic football from here. As we say, protect the ball, go back to what your strengths are, and pick it up 1 score at a time.
You know, the Cougars with a 6-game winning streak played their best games down the stretch, including the wins over Santa Monica and last week against Channel Islands. They played ball control. They ran time off the clock. Their defense made important stops, and now they've made a change of quarterback, and Gaines is in there running the pitch out.
Wow, somebody's helmet comes off. That was one of the CIF players who lost his helmet. Looks like it was Dwight Roberson.
So Jackson gets his first carry of the night, and they switch up. Maybe he needs a break right now. They've changed it up by putting Alex Gaines at quarterback, and Gaines comes back in to run his second consecutive play on this series. He's pretty versatile. He can run the option. He can throw a pass. And of course, he's an excellent runner with over 1,200 yards on the season.
Well, nonetheless, an interesting twist. I'm going to assume that something's wrong with Naha. I'm not sure we understand this. Gaines with the carry. Gaines still breaks loose. Gaines in the open field now. Needs to protect the football, and he does as he gets into CIF territory at the CIF 43-yard line. Big carry there by Alex Gaines.
Well, that's what I was just starting to point out. He's a triple threat at quarterback. And here he just takes it with a sweep on a quarterback keeper. Slips through the defense. He's got grease on his pants, and they can't bring him down until he's got a 25-yard pickup.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the 43. Gaines still under center at quarterback. Vuna Tuialamaka with the carry. He crosses the 40 down to about the 39-yard line. So Cougars moving the ball with a little dispatch right now.
That's got a little bit of smash mouth football. They're going to give us your best shot. We're just going to run it down your throat.
Well, again, it's about going and playing to your strengths. No secret that one of the strengths of Cougar football, quite frankly, is the rushing attack, as evidenced by both Gaines and Vonatui Halamaka. Now in the backfield, they line up Xavier Jackson. Keeping it, of course, is Gaines. Gaines gets down near the 35-yard line.
Maybe picks up half a yard. He's going to be short of the first down, but he certainly keeps the defense honest, because if you go for Gaines on that option, he'll toss it back to Jackson. If you try and cover on the trailing running back, he'll tuck it away and turn upfield and beat your linebacker to the outside.
Halamaka comes off the field with a slight limp. Would appear to be okay. Replacing him is T.U. Fanua in the backfield, number 22. Gaines with the handoff. and taken down, wrestled down in the backfield is Xavier Jackson.
Well, Michael Williams make another defensive stop. He already has the interception that resulted in the third score here in the half. And now takes the Cougars with about a 4.5-yard loss.
Craig Mobley, number 78, limps to the sideline. So it's a 4th and about 6 for the Cougars. The ball is spotted at the 44. Naha comes out to punt. Of course, Alex Gaines is there, and does take the short snap. Now with the pass over the middle, Gaines rather with the pass is intercepted, so the trick play doesn't fool St. Bonaventure. On the interception is number 28, Chavez.
Well, if you've done any scouting, you've seen Gaines at least in the 5 games we've covered. He's run that play 4 times, either running it on 4th and short or passing, and didn't fool anybody for the Serups. And Chavez has the interception. And now Hawthorne's defense has got to make a stop, because they can't allow them to go 75 yards now for a score. They're going to eat up all this time remaining in the half. Then they switch their quarterback. Evans comes back out.
Zakasey back on the center at quarterback. Zakasey dumps it off in the flat, and the tackle is going to be made for the Cougars by Atofu.
You know, if you're going to throw an interception, throw it a little deeper downfield, and it's as good as a punt. 4 turnovers now for Hawthorne. They're starting to have the wheels come off, even though it's 21-0.
Even though it's 21-0, and we've still got a whole half of football left. Cougars threw a wrinkle on that last possession. Now we're going to have an offside call. Look like this will probably go against the Cougars. Cougars threw a wrinkle. In fact, the indication may be that it's going to go against St. Bonaventure, that the defense was drawn off, and that is the call by our referee, Doug Turner. But as I was saying, the wrinkle that the Cougars threw them there when they made the switch at quarterback, took Nah out and put Alex Gaines in at quarterback, led to a couple of big plays, but they weren't able to sustain it, and they give the ball back over St. Bonaventure. Szymanski's pass completed out in the flat to about the 42-yard line before he's driven out of bounds by the Cougar defender.
Well, Tafoya has been an important part of this offense all season long. Here's another look at it. Szymanski has plenty of time. Nah is in there with a rush from his cornerback possession. Tui Halamaka dives for it and back to live action.
Cougars bring down the St. Bonaventure running back Ricky Garcia on that play. On the tackle for the Cougars, among others, was number 76, Desi Perez. Minute 55 left here in the first half. The first half marred by turnovers on behalf of the Cougars, 3 in particular that have led to touchdown scores by St. Bonaventure. Boy, Lee breaks a couple of tackles. They had him in the backfield. Lee breaks loose, picks up a first down as he moves in the Cougar territory at the Cougar 46.5-yard line.
St. Bonaventure now with no huddle inside 2 minutes remaining. Now they've got an 8-game winning streak since they lost to Lakewood back on September 29th. 24-7, that was early in the season.
You're looking to extend it to 9 at the Cougars' expense. And, of course, if it does come at the Cougars' expense, we all know, fans, this is one-and-done playoff season.
Well, they hit Lee right out of the slot, and he is uncovered. There is no defender there. He just lines up on the right side, right in the gap. There's a wide receiver to the outside. There's a tight end, and nobody is there to defend him. They just pop it to him, and he picks up the rest of the yardage.
Donnell Watson with the tackle for the Cougars. Flag on the play is going to go against St. Bonaventure, however, and it's going to negate that gain.
No, I'm sure all these penalties against the Seraphs, that's uncharacteristic of a 10-1 team, especially a team that's won 4 of the last 5 CIF championships in Division 4. They've got an illegal receiver downfield.
And that takes them back to their own 39-yard line. They need to get to the Cougar 36 to pick up the first down. So it is a 1st and 25. Big opportunity for the Cougar defense. They get a bunch of it on that play. So, timeout now taken by Seraphs of St. Bonaventure with 56 seconds left in the first half here. St. Bonaventure leads by a margin of 21-0.
Well, we'd like to remind you that the Angel Tree Lighting Ceremony will be held on Wednesday, December 1st. It'll start at 6 p.m. at the Lawndale Community Center. There'll be treats, entertainment, carolers, and best of all, you get your picture taken with Santa Claus. There'll be fun for the whole family. Kick off the Christmas holidays with the City of Lawndale. For more information, be sure and contact the city at 310-973-3200. That's Wednesday, December 1st for the Angel Tree Lighting Ceremony at the City of Lawndale.
And we're going to develop the point a little bit earlier, and we will give it to the fans in terms of the continuing playoff possibilities. Cougars pull this one out, which they certainly have the potential to do because we've still got a lot of football time left. If they pull it out and Royal, who's in the opposite half of this bracket, wins, then there's a flip. Royal is out of Simi Valley between the Cougars and Royal. If San Luis Obispo wins, we've got a long road trip to make. But first things first, there's a pass by Szymanski. Interception by the Cougars. Just what they needed. On the interception for the Cougars was Donnell Watson. Just called his name on the previous defensive play. And I'll tell you, with 49 seconds left here in the first half, Cougars are going to get the ball at their own 30-yard line. And they've got a chance to take a couple of pitches, I would say, toward the end zone. This might be where you want to bring Naha back in here, put him under center, and flood the field. But doesn't look like that's what they're going to do.
Like Alex Gaines goes back at quarterback.
That'll be a story that we hope our sideline reporter Brandon Nash can develop for us, this change at quarterback. Gaines' pass is out in the flat. He certainly had it deep enough, intended for Marcus Butler. Threw it in a bit of traffic, though. Pass falls incomplete.
Well, he certainly has the arm, but it's timing that he needs, and he hasn't had the experience really running the full offense rather than a series of plays that are directed for him to carry the ball on an option or a keeper. And you can see he sort of chucks it almost as far as he can. And if the defender had any heads up, he was seeing the ball was intended for him and not to Butler because it was about 3 yards deep.
So Gaines back under center. Gaines dropping back to pass. Gaines tucks it underneath. Gaines in the open field. Gaines continuing to run. Gaines now turns it outside. Maybe needing to go down. Okay, I trust that the Cougars have timeouts because if they do, they need to use one. And they do. There are 31 seconds left. It's a 1st and 10. Well, they don't elect to use the timeout. Now they do.
Well, that's what Alex Gaines does best. And you can see right from the snap, he pulls away from the center and takes a brief look downfield. Now he's going to go. And he picks up 25 yards and a first down. And he's got plenty of time left as they call a timeout. And St. Bonaventure, they see a mirror image of their own Matt Lee when they try and bring down Alex Gaines, and finally he reaches the 45-yard line. But they go against Lee in practice. Well, that's exactly what Gaines looks like on the opponent's squad.
There you see the clock, the score, the down, the distance. Those are all the facts there that you need, fans. 21-0 in favor of the guests. 31 seconds left. Cougars have the ball 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line of the Seraphs of St. Bonaventure.
Don't forget that the Lawndale Santa Sleigh Ride will begin on December 2nd at 6:30. It'll be a 2-week journey through the streets of Lawndale that starts on December 2nd at 6 p.m. The Santa Sleigh is sponsored by the South Bay Club 25.
So on the first down play with 30 seconds left, Naha back in. Naha lays it out in the flat. And of course, that one's going to be downed. I think the receiver, Taj Johnson, certainly knew that any contact with the ground with possession with the ball is automatically down. Now the Cougars use their last timeout.
Well, he makes a nice catch, and when he was knocked down with the catch, he decided he was going to, I was untouched, and he was going to get up and run with it. Well, it doesn't matter because in the high school football, you're already down.
Been watching a little too much NFL the last couple of days.
It's a good idea.
Absolutely.
We can get away with it.
Fans, we hope you got out and enjoyed the Lawndale Family Festival and Sidewalk Sale. It was a great weekend event here in the Lawndale Hawthorne community where we had giant slides and sponsorship by the local chamber and the community. It was just a fun time. Our crew was out there covering it. We know you'll see it, see portions of it on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Great event, great for the community, and many more events coming up. We're back. Naha throws over the middle. Naha's pass is completed down to about the 40-yard line. 16 seconds left. Cougars will need to go. No huddle. Clock continues to run. It's a 3rd down play. They've got to get it underway, using up a lot of time. Under 10 seconds now. Naha drops back to pass. You got to lay it out there. Things just not going the Cougar way right now. If nothing else, you got to throw that one away to at least stop the clock. The half ends, and it ends with St. Bonaventure, known as the Seraphs, leading by a score of 21-0 as a very frustrated number 10 Naha leaves the field. It has not been his kind of evening thus far. He thought the Seraphs perhaps got in a little extracurriculars on that last play. There was no flag. So the Cougars will go to the locker room at the half, Michael, down by 3 touchdowns, and each touchdown was courtesy of a turnover.
Yeah, 3 turnovers set up those 3 scores, and then they had 1 more turnover to give them 4.5. They were finally able to pick off a pass and start a drive, but they had just run out of time. They're signaling how much time they want to put on the clock before we go down to Brandon Nash. I'll send it back to you, but it's 21-0, and they've got to shut off the turnovers and be more disciplined in the second half.
And the indication from the officials, you're not quite sure what has happened. It seemed like they're indicating to put 6 seconds back on the clock, but the teams have headed to the locker rooms. Officials still on the field. We're waiting to go. We are prepared to go down sideline to Brandon Nash as soon as we've determined that the half has come to an end, and from all appearances, it looks like that it has. So let's go down sideline to Brandon Nash.
Thank you, Rufus. The second quarter not turning out what we kind of expected. Three turnovers in the second quarter, 2 of those leading for touchdowns in the first half. Magic not having the kind of half that we expected of him. An interception, a fumble, those leading to the touchdowns. Those led to Matt Lee, who has 107 yards on 11 carries. Right now, the Hawthorne defense not having an answer for him. He's running inside, he's running outside, he's running around. They say he runs a 10.6 in his 100 meters in track. The one offensive spark for the Cougars was Alex Gaines. They actually had to replace Magic and put him in at quarterback. He did some things with his legs, but he's only got 65 yards right now. Coach Hotelling going into the half right now. The team looking a little demoralized, kind of walked off the field. He's got to bring some of that spark back to his squad, see what they can get into for the second half. The one big play that kind of brought some momentum back to them was Donnell Watson's interception at the end of the half. But Magic letting a sack in the quarter, which is not a positive thing for the team. We need to get some more momentum back to the guys over here on Hawthorne, see if they can get something going for the second half. Back upstairs to you guys.
Thank you very much, Brandon. And as Brandon pointed out, it's real simple, fans. 3 turnovers. Of course, the Cougars have had more than 3 turnovers, a total of 4, I believe, in the contest, 3 of which have led to touchdowns by the Seraphs of St. Bonaventure. So as we go to halftime on Lawndale, Hawthorne's Community Cable Channel 22, our score in the second round, CIF Southern Section 2004 Division IV football contest. St. Bonaventure leads 21-0. We'll be back with second half action in a moment. All right, fans, we're back here on Lawndale Hawthorne's Community Cable Channel 22 here at Hellcat Field as we prepare for second half action in tonight's contest between the Hawthorne Cougars and the visiting Seraphs of St. Bonaventure. They went into the locker room with a 21-0 lead. They'll be kicking off to the Cougars to start the second half. Michael, Cougars have a tall mountain to climb if they expect to advance in this year's playoffs.
You know, the defense hasn't played that poorly. It's the offense that's turned the ball over 4 times, resulting in 3 scores, and Matt Lee has all 3 of the touchdowns for the #1 ranked St. Bonaventure Seraphs.
Here's the kickoff. It travels over to Butler's side. Butler takes it. Butler heads up the field, reverses field, and is going to be brought down short of the 20-yard line at about the 18, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Cougars needing to come out of the locker room, man, with, breathing fire if they expect to get back into this.
And we'll see who starts the second half at quarterback. It'll be Alex Gaines, or will it be Magic Na'a? They're on the sideline, and they come to the center of the field. And it looks like Gaines is going to start the second half at quarterback.
There you see not even in the circle of players going over the strategy for this first set of downs. So a major change here in the strategy and utilization of players by the Cougars.
They come to the line of scrimmage, they get a procedure penalty before they can even run their first play.
So we've just started second half action, and that's as quick as you can get a flag on a play. We've got 11:54 left, 6 seconds expired on the clock. That, of course, was a dead ball foul. Gaines rolling out. Gaines looking to pass. Gaines swings it out in the flat, hits his receiver, Kendall Johnson, I believe, or rather Taj Johnson, excuse me. Taj Johnson with the play, but that was for a very short gain, if any.
Well, it's a gamble to start Gaines here at quarterback in the second half. Maybe there's no other option. Maybe Na'a has been injured, but we're not aware of it because he came back in on the final 3 plays of the first half. Now, earlier in the year, he had to come out of the Mayor's Cup game against Louisiana with a slight concussion, but he came back and played the following week.
Well, we're going to hope that our sideline reporter, Brandon Nash. Brandon, this is where you make your money at, buddy. These are the kind of stories sideline reporters become famous for. We, along with the viewing audience, want to know, why has Coach Hotelling decided to go with Alex Gaines at quarterback instead of his seasoned quarterback, Naha?
Well, Holland and Lee with a blitz drop Gaines back at the, what do we have, 8-yard line. Make it the 13.
So it is a 3rd and 20 is what the scoreboard shows for the Cougars. They need to get out to about the 35-yard line to pick it up. That pass goes incomplete. Swing pass intended for Glenn Bernard, and it's going to make it a 4th down. Naa does take the field as the punter.
Boy, they were fortunate that that was ruled incomplete because he turned and threw that backwards, and that would have been a live ball. And St. Bonaventure, with excellent coverage, was ready to take over right there.
So, standing right at the 1-yard line is Nahi. Takes it, gets the kick away. It's going to be a short kick taken at the 40-yard line. The return is on by St. Bonaventure. The return man gets it up to nearly the 25-yard line before he's brought down. That was Derek Wilson for the Serifs.
And again, it's a short field on a 15-yard return after only a 38-yard punt. And it'll be 1st and 10 just outside the 25. And again, when your defense has got to play with its back against the wall and down by 3 scores, you've already dug yourself a hole.
And I can tell you, if the Serifs get a score here, you may have some fans decide they might can get in some last-minute Christmas shopping before the stores close tonight, quite frankly.
Well, this is excellent defense. They get right to Lee and force him out of bounds. The whole host of Cougar defenders just sprint right to the ball because inside the tackles is where Lee has done all of his damage tonight. 3 touchdown runs, 4 yards, 2 yards, and 35 yards.
So it is a 2nd down and 8 now for the Serifs. That pass thrown incomplete, as right now Evans is under center at quarterback. The Bonaventures have been juggling their quarterbacks between number 12, Matt Evans, and number 7, Samson Zakasi.
Evans last week with 2 touchdown passes in a 29-14 win over Moore Park. So he gets the start here in the 2nd half.
So it is now a 3rd and 9 here in the opening minutes of the 3rd quarter. Cougar defense being challenged. That pass completed to Matt Lee. He's taken down by Alex Gaines just outside the 10-yard line, but the reception was enough for the 1st down.
Gaines makes the stop, otherwise Lee just waltzes into the end zone with his 4th touchdown on the evening.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Serifs. Evans under center at quarterback. Evans drops back to pass. Fade pattern in the end zone, intercepted by Alex Gaines. So the Cougars catch a break, Michael, here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, as it'll be 1st and 10 for them at their own 20-yard line, courtesy of the interception by number 8, Alex Gaines.
Alex Gaines is a great 2-way player. That's the 2nd interception now for the Cougars. They had one in the closing minutes of the 1st half, and this one thwarts a scoring threat, and this pass is thrown up deep in the corner of the end zone. Gaines with good coverage steps right in front of the intended receiver, and they bring it out to the 20, 1st and 10, and we'll see if Gaines comes back at quarterback. He's a 2-way player. He might need a break here in this first play from the line of scrimmage. Looks like Gaines is still running the offense, Rufus.
It certainly does, and that's what you call your keep hope alive turnover. And that does keep hope alive for the Cougars. On the carry, wow, body slammed to the ground is number 23 for the Cougars. That's Xavier Jackson.
But the one thing it does, it changes your whole offense. Focus goes from Gaines as a threat out of the tailback position where he can read the blockers to Jackson being in the tailback slot, and now he's limited to running the option or a keeper. We're talking about Gaines as he plays at quarterback.
All right, and Right after this play, fans, we're going to go down sideline. Brandon Nash has some insight for us on this quarterback switch that the Cougars have made here that goes back to the second quarter. It's a second down play. Alex Gaines, the feature running back, now at quarterback. Gaines still with it. Gaines struggles for a couple of yards on the play. Let's go down right now to Brandon Nash on the sideline. Brandon, take it away.
Thanks, Rufus. The big question right now you're probably wondering is why is number 10, Magic, not in the game at QB? I spoke with one of the coaches after halftime, and they said that earlier in warm-ups, he kind of tweaked his hamstring a little bit and couldn't get as much push off of it as he wanted to. Therefore, they told him, why don't you take it back a step, go on defense and just try to focus on that, and they'll put it in the hands of Alex. And so far, he's trying to do his thing on offense and defense. He's running the ball. You just saw him get an interception. Now the Magic has transformed over to Alex Gaines. He's been doing it all year. We'll see what he can do for the rest of the half. Back upstairs to you guys.
Brandon, thanks a whole lot. We certainly appreciate that insight. As you heard it, fans, and I heard it, he, because of a slight hamstring, can only go one way, or they're feeling they want to conserve his energy, and they're using him mostly on the defensive side. I got to say to you, if my starting quarterback, who's a two-way player, can only play one way, I think I want him to play quarterback.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put him at quarterback, too, because he's limited what he can do defensively. If you've got a bad hamstring, a quarterback is simply going to hand it off to Gaines, toss it to Gaines, and really isn't going to damage by dropping back to pass. But, well, you got to chase wide receivers all over the defense.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough on your legs.
And right now, the switch is not working in their favor. Gaines is sacked for a loss on the play. Again, and let me say this on behalf, in all fairness to Coach Hotelling and his crew, every coaching staff knows their personnel better than we here in the booth or on the sidelines, such as Brandon. This is a decision that they've made that they think serves Cougars' best interest. I trust their judgment on that, and all we can do is hope that it works out in their favor. But right now, boy, they're really being challenged, and they've got to make some things happen for them as quickly as possible. Here's the punt. Once again, the punt taken by Derek Wilson. Wilson heads up the middle. Wilson still on his feet. Wilson finally brought down at about the 30-yard line. Cougars say the ball came loose, and they think they have it. The official's not yet signaled, and now the indication is that it was recovered by St. Bonaventure. We'll watch the replay here, Michael.
Yeah, and I was really watching away from the ball, to see how much running he could do, and he comes up and gets right in the middle of that tackle.
Evans still under center quarterback.
So 2 interceptions, now 2 fumbles. So the turnovers are starting to even up a little.
Pulls out, calls an audible, hands it off to Lee. That's not a bad audible when you give it off to the 3 consecutive time 1,000-yard rusher. Cougars, of course, hosting this St. Bonaventure team this year in the second round after having gone up to Moore Park to play them last year in the first round. Once again, Lee hitting the hole.
And look who's on the bottom of the pile making the tackle, Magic Na'a. They're going to stay with no huddle. Come right to the line of scrimmage, get the play called in from the sideline, and try and wear down the Cougars here in this third quarter, leading by a 21-0 score.
Once again, keep it on the ground with Lee. Lee bursts straight up the middle. Lee's going to go in for the touchdown score from 21 yards out, and that's going to extend the lead now to 27-0 with the extra point attempt coming up, courtesy of a 21-yard touchdown run.
Boy, he is a jackrabbit. Look at him get to the hole. Then he's in the defensive backfield, and nobody can even get a hand on him. Butler sees him break away and take it in from 21 yards out, his 4th score on the night.
So that hole that the Cougars was in just got a little bit deeper, fans, and pretty soon they'll start shoveling the dirt on it because it's going to be as deep as it can get in terms of any possibility for the Cougars to extend their season. They need something, anything, one little spark. Still plenty of time, but you got to have a spark, and that spark's got to come from somewhere. Quite frankly, they need a big play on this upcoming kickoff if they expect to mount any sort of challenge in what remains of this second-round contest that they trail by a score, as you see, of 28-0.
Well, again, it was a short field. They had the short field when they scored their first 3 touchdowns in the first half on turnovers, and now they had a short field on Naa's short punt and an excellent return, and they only had to take it in from 30 yards out, and it ends up with a 21-yard run. So the Cougars, seeing their 6-game winning streak start to slip away. Now it's turning out to be a story of injuries and turnovers.
Cougars prepare to receive the kickoff again here. Back to receive for them. Again, it's the same tandem that's been in the backfield all night. Number 1, Marcus Butler. Number 4, Taj Johnson. Here's a kick hits toward Butler. Butler takes it, and he's tripped up right at the 20-yard line, it would appear, and it is so. So, from just across the 20, the Cougars will go on offense with 4:45 left in the third quarter, trailing by a margin of 28-0. Cougars looking to get untracked here as one of the members of their cheer squad attempts to keep some life in this party.
Well, just a reminder, the winner of tonight's game advances to the semifinals. The game will be held on Friday, December 3rd or Saturday, December 4th. They'll meet the winner of the Royale San Luis Obispo contest. With no huddle, they come right to the line of scrimmage. And maybe this is where you set up Gaines to take the snap from a shotgun, and he can run the offense maybe a little better from there with his inexperience in taking it right from the line of scrimmage, as they've taken a timeout with less than 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Just a reminder, the 2004 Holiday Home Decorating Contest, sponsored by the City of Lawndale's Beautification Committee. The best decorated homes will be chosen as the best holiday homes in Lawndale. It's free to enter. Just call City Hall at 310-973-3269 for more information and an entry form. You can download an entry form at the city's website, www.lawndalecity.org.
And if you're one of those people that keep your Christmas lights up all year, all you got to do is flip the switch now. You know? I mean, there are folks who do that. It's a great event, actually. I mean, and there are a lot of homes in the community that are decorated there. You see Tui Alamaka with the carry. Alamaka running wild. Alamaka, he's down. There's no fumble on the play.
Well, that'll bring the Cougar supporters to their feet. That's the biggest run of the night.
Alamaka takes it.
We're starting to look for flags, and so far there are no penalty flags. 35-yard plus and a first down.
Takes it to the 37-yard line. We're to be first and 10, 37 of the Serifs, that is. We're to be first and 10 for the Cougars. Gaines under center at quarterback. Xavier Jackson in the backfield with him. Man in motion. He gives it off to Jackson. Jackson hits the line, picks up about 3 as he goes from the 37 to the 34.
Well, they surprise him with Tui Alamaka, and maybe that throw Fanua in there at 6'3" and 300 pounds and see how they can handle the big bull backfield.
Terrell Kendall comes in as Vincent Atofa comes off. Tui Alamaka in the backfield. Setting up in front of him is Kendall. Now you're going to have a flag on the play. There was an illegal shift. That was easy to see.
Tui Alamaka
Players
shifted from the left side to the right side to go in the slot.
And just so you know, of course, there are two Tui Alamakas. That was number 44, Richard Tui Alamaka, who was shifting on the play as the ball was snapped. So, and there you see the indication from our referee, Doug Turner, an illegal shift by the Cougars. So it is now a 2nd down and about 12 for the Cougars. The ball's right between the 39 and the 38. Backs in an I formation. Now they split as Tui Alamaka comes up to the line of scrimmage. Gaines with the keeper. Gaines turns it up. Gaines has a hole. Gaines has a 1st down as he crosses the 25 to about the 24-yard line.
Well, there you can see the quickness and the speed. It gets a lead block from Kendall and Tui Alamaka, and then cuts it up. There's a couple of youngsters staying up late tonight. Friday Night Lights here at Hellcat Field.
Didn't know, but I think they were twins. They looked remarkably alike, not to mention that they were dressed alike. 1st down play. Tui Alamaka with the carry. Alamaka now, he's picking up some steam of his own as he picks up about 5, maybe 6 on the carry. Takes it down inside the 20. The Cougars' deepest penetration of the evening.
Now this is true smash mouth. They're giving it to their big back. They're hammering it up the middle. No doubt about it. It's our offensive line against your defensive line, and let's see if you can stop us. They get a big hole. And here comes Avuna Tui Alamaka before they can bring him down. He's at about the 19.
From the 19 with Jackson in motion. Gaines drops back to pass. Gaines looks to pass. Gaines tucks it under. Stiffs arms. One receiver turns it upfield and gets down to about the 15, inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line is Alex Gaines with 1:32 left in the 3rd quarter. Cougars are knocking on the door.
Boy, is he elusive. They had him trapped. He was looking for receivers. There was no place to go. Scrambles, comes up the near side. They got a shot at him. He's going to lose about 10 yards, and he turns it into a big gain. All right, here's a linebacker. He's got him at the 25. He escapes. Doesn't go out of bounds. Jitterbugs.
Gaines on the keeper. Gaines turns it up. Gaines gets inside the 10, down to about the 8 before he's pushed out of bounds. And that again will stop the clock. Now the official indicates to run it. Cougars needing to, although it's inconsequential, they'll look for a score here in the 3rd quarter. But they're going to need a bunch of them, and they're going to need a bunch of them over the next 12 minutes and 30 seconds if they expect to win this contest. Of course, there are no 28-point plays, so they've got to do it, Michael, 1 touchdown at a time.
And the clock is running with 30 seconds remaining.
I thought he went out of bounds, quite frankly, and the clock should have been stopped. Wasn't the indication from the official, and now we've got a flag in. A whistle stops the play.
Well, most likely delay a game, that's the call. And when you've got an inexperienced quarterback and the plays are coming from the sideline, they get penalized 5 yards. So Gaines back-to-back plays, carried for 7 yards and then 4 yards and got them a 1st and goal, and now they'll back it up.
Of course, these are situations now where, you know, as they're marking it off, you need to be planning what your next move is, and because the Cougars going to have to go with a bit of a hurry-up offense, not just for this set of downs, but throughout the rest of the game, they'll need to be calling a couple of plays at a time.
There's that full house backfield we talked about.
Gaines with it. Gaines rolling out. Gaines tucks it under. Gaines is going to be taken down just outside the 10-yard line.
And the clock continues to run, so that's going to be the final play here in the 3rd quarter.
So our 3rd quarter will end as you see it wind down with our score. The Serifs of St. Bonaventure visiting from Ventura County, leading by a margin of 28-0 over the Cougars. However, the Cougars are knocking on the door, looking to get in when we start 4th quarter action on Hawthorne, Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. And I believe we're in a position to go down sideline, if I'm not mistaken, to Brandon Nash.
Back and forth for the Hawthorne team might just be starting to take a toll on them. Alex Gaines doing all he can, lots of effort, lots of hard running, but right now it's all for naught. He gets a 1st down, they get a penalty. He gets 10, 12 more yards, another penalty of some kind. They have to find a way to get this going. Going into the 4th quarter, it's just going to be a really big struggle. St. Bonaventure methodically just having their way when they get on offense. They're having a hard time finding an answer for Matt Lee. He's got over 120 yards. 4 touchdowns. We should see what should happen in the 4th quarter. Back upstairs to you guys.
Well, Brandon, thank you very much, and I think you're exactly right. It is a game of attrition, and right now the Cougar players really, when you start having to fight uphill, that's what makes it all the more challenging. When it's level, it's one thing, and boy, when you're going downhill, it's all the more better.
Yeah, but it's more fun when you're on your offense, too.
Right.
At least you can see some gold at the end of the rainbow, and that could be a touchdown in this nice drive that they've finally put together.
So it's a 3rd down and 12 for the Cougars now. They can pick up a 1st down without picking up a touchdown. Obviously, 4 down territory for them. Gaines drops back to pass. Gaines loose it up, and it is dropped. Boy,
Richard.
That was a drop by
Tuialamaka.
Richard, and I'm sure well, let me just say Richard Tuialamaka dropped it.
Here's another look. And Gaines puts a lot of air under it. Open in the end zone. Beats the defender. And they end up now with a 4th and goal from the 12. Back defending was Finnerty, who is their best defensive back. Had 5 tackles last week. Has 4 interceptions on the year.
But you could see by Tuialamaka's reaction, Richard Tuialamaka, that he knew that was a reception that he should have made. So Gaines gets to try it again. Gaines drops back to pass. Gaines lays another one up. And this one is also dropped, but you got a flag. You got 2 flags on the play. I think the officials, in a gesture of magnanimity, decide that there may have been defensive interference on that one.
It's in the end zone. Finnerty defending against Richard Tuialamaka. And he had a chance to make another touchdown catch here. The Gaines has thrown 2 pretty good balls, even though this one he's backpedaling, throws it across his body. And that's tough to see pass interference there.
Well, it was tough to see. What was easy to see was that was a 2nd drop.
Here they go.
So it'll be a 1st and goal for the Cougars from the 5-yard line. Vuna Tuialamaka bulling his way Got to be careful there, number 22, lest we get one of those assisting the runner calls, because 22 was behind the
Yeah,
pile.
Fanua was right behind him, is using his 6'3" and 300 pounds to push Tuihalamaka to the goal line.
11:25, clock running.
Coach Art wants a score.
Left here in the fourth quarter. Cougars knocking on the door. Ball should be positioned from where we sit, right at about the 1 yard line. This would appear to be a Gaines keeper right over center. There we go. Vuna Tuihalamaka with the carry. He's in there. It would appear, now they're saying there was a fumble. No.
Well, they stripped the ball from him, but that was after he was in the end zone with the score. There's Finnerty back here at the 45-yard line, not happy with the call, but the Cougars are on the board, trailing now 28-6 here in the fourth quarter.
1 yard run by Vuna Tuihalamaka. And you're right, the ball broke the plane of the end zone, and that was sufficient to score it. And that's what the ref saw. The extra effort forced it to come loose. But the Cougars are on the board. And now they show, okay, they show that they're going to kick it. And boy, these extra points loom large here. Kick is up, it's blocked. So
Reyes gets his extra point blocked, and it remains at 28-6.
That means on the Cougars' next touchdown score, they'll be forced to go for 2, to stay within striking distance. But that touchdown, as we watch the replay on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, there we see Vuna Tuihalamaka right there, clearly across the goal line.
And then he coughs the ball up, and it goes to Finnerty, who takes off. That was close, but they got the score, and they've shown that they can move the ball now with Gaines at quarterback. Stayed on the ground. I'm not sure if he completed any passes during that drive.
Of course, that drive was aided by the defensive pass interference call against St. Bonaventure, which gave the Cougars a fresh set of downs after Richard Tuihalamaka had dropped 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, he could have had a couple of completions, but it was basically done on the ground without a completion. Reyes kicks it off. They look for an onside kick.
Need to let it bounce. It does bounce. Now the question is, did the Cougars get it? And they did, because the Serifs touched it, and
that's the way you change the momentum. You score, you come right back, you surprise them, you knock in the onside kick. It hit one of the Serifs and bounced right back to the Cougars after it went 10 yards. And they'll get a 1st and 10 at the 48. Right there, hits him on his foot and comes back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good call by the officiating crew to see that that contact was made with a Serif player before it went to 10 yards.
I'm not sure what he was trying to do, stick his foot out and kick it. It's football, not real football.
Gaines with the keeper. Gaines turns the left side. Gaines being driven out of bounds.
Flag is going to bring it back. Boy, we're starting to get a lot of penalties in this game. They're all starting to mount up.
A whole lot. I would think, and I'm going to look for, I think one of the things we want to look at, Michael, is what's the defensive setup for St. Bonaventure, because if you ask me, I think the Cougars need to look deep. They need quick scores, and they certainly didn't have. Now they waved the flag off.
It's the second time tonight they've waved the flag off. The other time they thought it was a illegal substitution.
The problem with throwing it and waving it off is that it does affect the players and what you're doing. Once you see that flag come in particular, depending upon the timing of it, you tend to lay back just a little bit.
Now they're going to go to the air because Na'a is back in. They've got Magic on the field.
Na'a drops back to pass, lays it up, loops it up, and it's incomplete. Not incomplete, it's intercepted rather. He throws interception to Wilson. Wilson's going to sprint down the sideline for the touchdown.
70 yards.
70 yards, and I would suspect that with that, now you have a flag coming in, maybe unsportsmanlike, but I'm going to think that you've probably seen the last of Magic Na'a tonight.
Now for Na'a, that's his second pass interception. He's fumbled one ball for another turnover. He's playing with a pulled hamstring, and this time he didn't get any leverage on the pass, threw it right out in the flat. And Wilson takes it 70 yards. He's right there at the 30, and there is no Cougar in our picture, and that's for about 20 yards in either direction. And there's not even a defender down here to try and tackle him, except Na'a takes one blocker on, and Wilson goes 70 yards, and that pretty much is going to salt it away for St. Bonaventure. They made a nice effort to get the one score here in the fourth, but on their fifth turnover, and 4 of those have been touchdowns.
And that unsportsmanlike taunting penalty goes against them. That means the ball would be spotted at the 25. It would be a 35-yard extra point attempt. Kick is up, and it is good. So the bit of momentum that the Cougars had, Michael, they score, they miss the extra point attempt. No harm there. They go for the onside kick. They get that back. They change quarterbacks. They put Na'a in a quarterback, and I can respect what Coach Hotelin was doing in that situation again, trying to throw a different wrinkle, thinking maybe catch St. Bonaventure perhaps off guard a little bit, or either fall in the philosophy, you dance with the one that brought you to the party. At any rate, Na'a throws the jump ball, and Wilson returns a 70 yards.
Yeah, and there's only
touchdown.
one man out there to jump with. There was no receiver. I'm not sure if they ran the wrong pattern, if somebody slipped, but it was only St. Bonaventure defenders in that area, and then Wilson takes it all the way back. 5 turnovers tonight for the Cougars, 4 of those resulting in scores for St. Bonaventure, pretty much handing them 28 points, and it's tough to come back.
So the Cougars bubble is burst yet again, and now they have to come back and see if they can get themselves pumped up yet again, because they've still got 10 minutes, 20 seconds left in this contest. And even though they trail by a score of 35-6, things can happen in a hurry.
Well, we saw that on their drive. They went down and scored, turned it around with the onside kick.
They kick it away, and coming out of the end zone is Butler. Butler turns it up. Butler now in a bit of trouble as he crosses the 10, gets to about the 11.
I'm not sure if that's a valid return. Well, you step into the end zone, that's a touchback. You can't return a ball out of the end zone in high school football.
You read my mind exactly, Michael. I mean, I agree with you, and we saw that call made numerous times last week, and I saw it made also in the game I saw the previous Thursday. And so as soon as he stepped into the end zone, I thought that they were going to signal touchback, but they didn't, and they alignment, so it hurts the Cougars. That's a 9-yard loss is the net effect, because they're going to spot it at the 11, whereas the Cougars would have had it at the 20.
Yeah, just across the 10.
Gaines under center at quarterback now. Gaines fumbles it, and things going from bad to worse for the Cougars right now.
Well, Gaines pretty much has done a good job of handling the snaps, but again, it's inexperience working with that center day in, day out in practice. And there's a mishandle here, and they lose about 4 yards back to near the 6-yard line. And a lot of the Hawthorne Cougars are two-way players. As Brandon pointed out, it's a battle of attrition. They're starting to wear down.
Now, one of the factors in this, and if you're some young people out listening to our broadcast, which we hope you are, again, this is reflective of the fact that when your backup quarterback is also your starting tailback, that there are a lot of football opportunities. And if you're a kid sitting out there and the game of football interests you, understand this. As we see Alex Gaines with the carry, Gaines now going to be driven down, but picks up a first down on the play as he gets it out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line.
Well, he's got a big heart, and he's very talented, and he's a two-way player, and he's a star here in the South Bay. And he'll be back next year as a senior to lead these Cougars again to defend their Ocean League championship.
But to continue the point I was making, Mike, and I think you would agree with, when you've got to take a 1,200-yard rusher and put him under center at quarterback, that tells me, and when you've got to play your backup quarterback and he's it, that there's opportunities there for kids in this community who want to play football and come on out and join this program. Taj Johnson with the carry. Johnson turning it upfield now. Johnson with enough for the first down as he gets out near the 40. They're going to say he's officially down at the 39-yard line.
Well, it's a 14-yard pickup. Johnson now is going to be a tailback, replacing Gaines as he runs the offense. Get a first down at the 39.
He's a little guy at 5'5", 160, but playing man-sized football. So it's a first down play. Once again, keeping it on the ground. Again, this is Xavier Jackson. Jackson has a wide open field. Jackson's going to go all the way. Touchdown! Or they're going to say Jackson stepped out.
Stepped out about the 3-yard line.
At about the 3, boy, I thought his extra dive got him in. A 55-yard touchdown. Excuse me. I'm still convinced it's a touchdown, only because I want it to be for the Cougars.
Right there at the 3.5, maybe the 4. We just had some excellent coverage on our replay. Good camera work, everybody.
Keeping it on the ground. Number 42 with the carry for the Cougars. That's Jonathan Brooks O'Neal. That's not a name we call often from that running back position, Michael, but no, Brooks O'Neal gets the job done.
He's an outstanding linebacker, but I think they're starting to run out of people to carry the ball, and Brooks O'Neal does a nice job. Gets the score. There's another look at it. As we talked about our excellent camera work, just a reminder that tonight's producer-director is Tom Strickfaden. Camera operators are Eric Chavez, Alonzo Gonzalez, Paul Knapp, Andrea Sherrill, and our production assistant is Luther Mitchell. And they're going to go for 2.
Forced to because of the mixed extra point, and that doesn't go anywhere. That one never had a chance. Not quite sure what the design on that particular play was. So that makes our score now 35-12. Cougars, once again, fans, no surprise what's going to happen next. You can expect an onside kick as they prepare for the kickoff. We now have an opportunity to go once again down on the sideline to Brandon Nash.
Come on, sideline. Come on, crowd. Make some noise. Get pumped up. Come on, sideline. Come on, come on.
Thank you, Rufus. What you just saw right now is the JV team that St. Bonaventure came in. They pretty much felt that they had the game wrapped up, put their JV or their second string squad, and I'm sorry to say JV, and Hawthorne was able to march and put a score together. But the backbreaker was the 70-yard interception return by Derek Wilson that magic threw, and that pretty much put the Hawthorne Cougars almost out of reach. The stands and the sideline got really quiet. You could almost hear a pin drop in here. Let's see if the Cougars can put something together, maybe force the Seraphs of St. Bonaventure to put their starting defense back in the game. Back to you guys upstairs.
It's the 50, and then they tried to pick it up, and it was just going to roll dead and be their possession.
Yeah. Well,
no, it wouldn't. It's a live ball in once it goes to 10 yards. But if you're going to pick it up, you got to dive on it and smother it.
And you're right, the key is it's live once it goes 10. And from the angle of it, I think the St. Bonaventure players actually thought the ball was going to go out of bounds before it went to 10 yards. And, you know, these footballs, as you see it heading here, that's what the guys figured, and their player there slipped.
He lost his footing and couldn't get to it.
A little home field advantage working there. Alex Gaines under center. Gaines dropping back to pass. Gaines lays it up. He puts a jump ball up in the air. Boy, that one's intercepted, and that'll be something, obviously, that if you ask me in the future to come, as we've got another flag coming in from the far side, which will likely be a dead ball unsportsmanlike. I won't venture a guess as to who it's against.
Well, that was Finnerty with the interception. He had 4 on the season. That gives him 5. And they get a nice return. And as you're starting to mention, if you're going to have a backup quarterback, is somebody who's your backup quarterback full-time, switching over to Alex Gaines is almost a desperation move by the Cougars here tonight, as Na'a was injured and then came in and was ineffective. Here's a whole set of penalties, and they're going to mark it off unsportsmanlike again against St. Bonaventure. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike. But they get the interception. That's 6 turnovers now.
And that turnover came in an unfortunate time again for the Cougars. They had just recovered the onside kick. Here they bring in a new running back, St. Bonaventure does. This is number 20. We haven't had an occasion to call him tonight, and now we will. This is Michael Lee. Don't know for sure whether he's any relation to Matt Lee or not, but that's number 20, Michael Lee with the carry. He's a 5'10", 168-pound sophomore.
Well, since Matt Lee's a senior, that might be a pretty good assumption on our part. Sophomore and senior brothers.
And Michael with the carry, and more flags coming in now. And we're starting to get into, and we hate to discuss this type of situation, but we're starting to get into, as we see the flags continue to come in, Michael, and their flags indicating unsportsmanlike conduct.
And an ejection. So Hawthorne has had a player ejected now. And this is where the officials have to take control of the game. And they have to talk to the coaches and keep the players disciplined. You're down by a score of 5-12. Personal fouls, now an ejection. You don't want things to get out of hand.
Absolutely, and regardless of the score, and regardless of the outcome, much larger than the game itself is to understand, first and foremost, that you represent not just yourself, your family, but you also represent your school and your community. And I'm saying this message to both sides. I don't want anyone to misinterpret that I'm speaking to one or the other, because we've had a rash of unsportsmanlike conduct fouls here. And unfortunately, in light of what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, all as viewers of sporting events here in this country, both with the NBA incident, with the college football incident last Saturday, all of which doesn't look good or play out very well to the public in attendance at the game or the viewing public. So our hope, and that's what we see the officials doing now. The officials are talking to both coaches and saying, guys.
That's what it takes. Coach Hoteling is out there. John Mack is out there. They're going to talk to both their squads. They're going to say, hey, guys, we played a great game so far. We've got over 7 minutes to go. Let's play straight, hard-nosed football. No shenanigans, no cheap shots, no late hits. Let's play like a man, and don't embarrass your school or yourself.
And that's also good officiating by Doug Turner, the referee, along with his crew that we've mentioned before. Jeff Shearer, the umpire, line judge Tim Troya, head linesman Mike Davis, and the back judge Jim Stickney, for recognizing that things were starting to get just a little bit chippy, and it's best that we get under control. And I think they've done a good job of that. And it would appear that the coaches, the coaches obviously took the official timeout to speak to both teams. And we've got 7:17 left, and we're going to hope that it's 7 minutes and 17 seconds still of good high school football. And on this play, you're going to have what would appear to be a procedure penalty against St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, the right side of the line, probably some second teamers now in there, jumped off sides. There's a procedure call. Across the way, St. Bonaventure's brought a very nice crowd of supporters and fans with them. Done a good job of making that trek down here from Ventura. Of course, you got the #1 seed. You're going to follow them no matter where, and especially now in the CIF playoffs. That's what's great about high school football is the fan support.
That's for sure. This time, another run and play. They keep it on the ground. Once again, that's Lee, the younger Lee, Michael Lee, number 20. As we mentioned before, he's a sophomore. So, as we wind it down, I think you're right, Michael. We've told folks about events coming up, the Angel Tree Lighting Ceremony, the Lawndale Santa Sleigh, the Holiday Home Decorating Contest, as Lee is stacked up for a very short gain on the play. All these events over the next couple of weeks right here in the month of December. It's going to be a very active month of December in the Lawndale Hawthorne community, folks. And there are a lot of things going on that should make this holiday season quite enjoyable, that your local governments are putting on, Lawndale City Hall in particular. And we hope that you'll take the time out to enjoy some of those.
Well, and I know our producer-director, Tom Strickfan, was talking to the crew at halftime about covering an upcoming Christmas parade. So Hawthorne Lawndale Community Cable Channel 22 is not only to cover sporting events during the fall and winter, but they're going to be out there covering a lot of civic events also.
And that Christmas parade will be next Saturday, December 4th, in the morning. I think it's probably about an 8 o'clock start on that. It is an early start, but we know that you'll be out to enjoy all the kiddies. There's nothing more they love than a Christmas parade. And what's a Christmas parade without an appearance by the jolly man in red himself? So on downs, they punt it away, sails into the end zone for a touchback. They being St. Bonaventure, that was Butler over to handle the punt return, didn't get an opportunity, so to be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Well, the Hawthorne supporters, even though they're down 35-12, are going to stay to the bitter end and salute the Cougars at the conclusion of this game, win or lose.
And this has been a good run for this Hawthorne team, Michael. They've got a lot of things that they can be proud of in terms of what they accomplished this year. First of all, going 5-0 in league play and taking the league title was quite an accomplishment. Their regular season record was 8-3, good solid record there, and they won their first round playoff game against Channel Islands. This is Tui Halamaka with the carry.
Well, during the regular season, they had a couple of big wins in games that they certainly were the underdog as they knocked off Culver City and then also picked off a nice win over Maricosta. And those are two big rivals in this new reconfigured Ocean League, and it's their first playoff win in 6 years, and they had a 6-game winning streak coming in tonight's quarterfinal game.
See some of the faithful fans there, as Michael mentioned, all of whom are still here.
I know the one game that's going to circle on their schedule for next year will be against Lusinger in that Mayor's Cup. They lost 20-15. And there's Fanua still on his feet, 300 pounds, and they can't pull him down. I don't think he ever got to the turf. He was throwing gold and green jerseys everywhere.
Fanua working out of the running back position, not quite as polished a back as is Tui Halamaka or Alex Gaines or Xavier Jackson or some of the others, but they're figuring when you're 300 pounds, you got to be kind of hard to bring down, and if he can get a couple of shots here. Also, one of the facts is that Fanua is a senior as well.
Yeah, so we've got to go ahead and salute the seniors here in their final high school game, their final home game. Tui Halamaka, he takes a couple of Seraphs and just throws a forearm and knocks them right into their own bench.
Halamaka, the fullback and the Cougar running attack, and you're right. For a lot of guys, and we talked about this last week and tonight, unfortunately it does become reality for kids who've played this game at the high school level and have enjoyed it and being seniors. This pretty much wraps it up. But what a way to go out, what a season to go out on. It's a heck of a lot different than going out with a losing record. You accomplish some good things and a number of things that you can be proud of. And I think that the Cougar seniors here will, after some time to reflect, Michael, see what they've accomplished and how proud they should be of it.
Coach Hoteling deserves all the credit in the world turning this team around that over the last 2 years had a combined record of 2-19. And to take them to an 8-win season and to win that Ocean League title in a big game in Santa Monica that we had the chance to cover on Hawthorne Lawndale Community Cable.
And you're right, there were some coaching shakeups. This was Coach Hoteling's first year under the program, and you're right, he worked wonders for a team that has struggled the past 2 years. So Gaines will close it out under center. Gaines turns it up. Gaines takes it to the 41-yard line of St. Bonaventure, where it'll be 1st and 10. Gaines, of course, the junior, so he'll be back. He has another year. For Naha, Naha is a senior. Let me reconfirm that. Yes, Naha is a senior, and for him, a bit of a disappointment at the way he'll be closing out his high school career. But when you take the full measure of it, it's one that he certainly can also look upon with a source of pride.
Well, some of these seniors will move on to Division I level to play again. Others will go to community college. I know there's Harbor College coaches here tonight looking for players to join their program. The El Camino College has a couple of coaches here trying to scout some of the talent.
And you're right, it does represent an opportunity to first and foremost further education, and schools like Harbor College and El Camino give some additional seasoning to these young men. Those two schools have produced bushels of Division I football players who went there, got a couple of more years of seasoning, and stepped onto the big stage. So it's a good opportunity, and I would suspect, fans, and you should as well, that you will see some of these Cougars playing at the next level. That pass nearly intercepted, intended for Butler. It wasn't that long ago, Michael, that we had a kid out here playing running back, Adam Echamandu, great running back for the Hawthorne Cougars. Echamandu went on to play for California for the Bears, and had a great career at Cal.
Yeah, he played here for Coach Dan Robbins, and covered several of his games. What a great running back. And now I understand he's in the NFL.
Yep, a very, very good back, and he was as solid as it comes. We've seen a bit of that in Alex Gaines. Of course, Gaines has another year. Gaines' biggest challenge as he looks at the next level will be one of size. But again, one thing about football coaches, they don't measure you in inches. They measure you by the size of your heart, because there's a place for anybody in the game who's got a big enough heart.
Look at that role reversal as Na'a came in at running back, and we've got a personal foul against Hawthorne. It'll be 15 yards, but Gaines running the quarterback's position, hands it off to Na'a, who's now in at running back.
And if
Coach Art, you got me confused. I don't know what he's doing with his offense right now.
So that personal foul is going to back the Cougars up. It's going to take the ball back to the Cougar 44-yard line, where it'll be, let's look at the down and distance on the scoreboard. They scored as a second down and 23 from the 44. There's a pitch back to Naha. Naha lays it up. Has a receiver down there, ball's battered around and falls incomplete. That pass intended for Brandon Jenkins.
And again, now with two quarterbacks in the offense. Either quarterback is a threat to pass. This time, Na'a gets the toss from Gaines, and he throws downfield.
So we've got 2:25 left in the contest. It's a 3rd and 23 now for the Cougars. They need to get down near the 30, at about the 33 to be exact, to pick up a first down. That's a 33 of St. Bonaventure. Once again, here's a pass to Naha. Naha lays it up. That's a nice bullet pass reception made by his intended receiver, still on his feet, taken down at about the 5-yard line.
Glenn Bernard, who had a touchdown catch last week from Na'a, makes this one, and they've got to really wrestle him to the turf at the 5. So back-to-back halfback options. This time it's their quarterback who plays the role of the halfback, and he throws it deep to Bernard behind the defender at the 22. Takes it all the way down to the 5. He just couldn't get away. Wrestle him on the turf at the 5. 1st and goal, Cougars looking to make the score at least respectable.
Gaines still under center. Nah in the backfield. Gaines rolling out. Gaines pass is caught. Okay, we have to look to the official to get an indication.
Simi Cooley. Cooley was injured 2 weeks ago in the first quarter of the Hawthorne game. This is his final game. He has played limited amount of time tonight with a badly injured ACL. He's wearing a brace on it, and he's going to make the catch. Diving in front of the intended receiver. Looks like the pass was intended for Butler. And here comes Cooley right across and makes the catch for the score. So Gaines now is throwing 3 touchdown passes on the season. And he's completed 75% of his passes, believe it or not. Now they'll go for the 2-point conversion from the 3.
Gaines with the keeper. Gaines turns it up. Gaines is going to be stopped short. So the Cougars have gone for it twice for the 2-point conversion to no avail. And that makes our score now 18-35 in favor of St. Bonaventure.
That's nice to see Simi Cooley come off the bench, because I talked to him earlier, and he pretty much didn't think he'd be seeing any action here tonight, and he comes in and makes a diving catch. A lot of Division I schools are scouting And after missing majority of the Santa Monica win, last week's first round against Channel Islands, he's showing that with some rehab, some work on his leg, that he can come back to 100%. And he makes a great play for the score here.
So once again, the Cougars will attempt, and actually they've been successful.
2 for 2.
They're 2 for 2, and that may be approaching a record in and of itself. They kick it the same way. This time it sails out of bounds. That'll draw the flags. Looks like it had actually sailed the 10 yards, so if it went to 10, there wouldn't be, the flag would be of no consequence. It'd be the Seraphs' ball.
I'm not sure why Marcus Butler didn't dive for it right there at the 50. It was bounding his way. He's the outside gunner. And when it hit at the 49 and took a right-hand turn, he should have been able to dive for it.
Okay, so although the officials threw their yellow hankies indicating a violation, there is no violation on the play. And you look at where the ball is spotted just outside the 50, which means it went to prescribed 10 yards by regulation. So, from midfield, the Seraphs with a minute 44 left, leading by 17 at 35 to 18. They take a knee on that play. A timeout situation has the Cougars with 1 timeout remaining. I'm sure they will eventually elect to use it.
Well, the Seraphs still have to run 3 more plays.
Clock running just under a minute 20. So, reality starts to set in, both with the Cougar players and with the Cougar fans, that this was not to be their night, as the Seraphs of St. Bonaventure come down to Hawthorne in the second round contest, and they're going to advance in this year's playoff to the semifinal game. Opponent yet to be determined, as they're going to get out of here with the victory over the Cougars. There you see Sakasi back at quarterback, number 7 for St. Bonaventure.
Well, they'll meet the winner of the Royale, the San Luis Obispo game next week in the semifinals.
And there are a lot of kudos that we could give to a number of people. Let me mention to you just once again as we run out the last couple of seconds. Folks, it's important to know that the folks who've been responsible for bringing these games to you throughout the season, and now we have Hawthorne taking their final timeout. First of all, the executive producer of Lawndale Community Cable Television, Mr. Tom Strickfaden. On camera, as we mentioned, Eric Chavez, Alonzo Gonzalez, Paul Knapp, Andre Sherrill, and joining us from time to time, the inimitable one, Jose Bravo. Also, a production assistant, Luther Mitchell, and of course, Brandon Nash down sideline, my partner, Michael Kennedy, and of course, I'm Rufus Washington. It's been a fun run. We've had a number of highlights. We had Lawndale High recording their first varsity victory in their very first game against Bishop Montgomery. We've come here tonight and seen, we saw not Lawndale, but Hawthorne win their first round playoff game, and we saw them be game and competitive tonight. So it was a good season. Saw the Olympians, shouldn't fail to mention them, the Olympians with their feature running back who went over the 2,000-yard mark for them. So it was a good season, and we saw a bit of it all on Hawthorne and Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22. Once again, the Seraphs keeping it on the ground. And with that, we've got about under 10 seconds left in the contest. They'll wind the clock up. I don't think the Seraphs will bother to run another play at this point as it counts down. So, our final in the second round game, fans. The Seraphs of St. Bonaventure will leave tonight with a 35-18 win. And as we close out this broadcast, and once again congratulate Coach Al Hotelling and the Cougar program on a very successful season nonetheless. A complete turnaround of the fortunes of this program. It portends good things for the future of Hawthorne football, and what they need first and foremost is the continued support, as you have all season long, fans, week in and week out, to come out and support these young men as they take the gridiron. Our directions now turn, Michael, toward the hardwood, as we will take a few weeks off. We'll regroup, get our equipment together, fans, and we start to look toward basketball. Of course, that means we'll be covering the same three schools, Michael. Lawndale Cardinal, losing Olympians, and of course, these own Hawthorne Cougars.
Well, this is a great gesture of sportsmanship. Both teams meeting in the center of the field, congratulating each other on a great game. The second round action finds St. Bonaventure running their record to 11-1 and now 8-4 for the Hawthorne Cougars. You know, it just seems like a few days ago that we were back at Lawndale for their opener against Bishop Montgomery in that warm early September evening, and now we close out the season with a quarterfinal game here at Hawthorne on a nice, cool November night. Thanksgiving weekend. I want to wish everybody the West for the holidays, and it's been a great pleasure working with Tom Strickfadden and Rufus Washington, along with Brandon Nash, and we're going to go to Brandon for a coach's interview in just a moment. So that's our final score here, but again, it's been a great year for Hawthorne High School football as they come back from a disappointing year last year, and even a disappointing playoff game against the St. Bonaventure team that ran them off the field 58-10, and they finish up with a respectable game in a losing effort, 35-18.
All right, so we'll take a momentary break on Hawthorne Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, fans, but our coverage isn't over. Brandon Nash, after Coach Hotelling has an opportunity to speak with his players for a moment, will be able to go sideline with Coach for some closing thoughts on this Cougar season. So we'll take a break on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, and we'll come back with that interview by Brandon Nash. All right, we're back, fans. Coach Hotelling has just finished speaking with his team pursuant to the final outcome of tonight's contest, and he's been gracious enough to join us here at Hawthorne Lawndale Community Cable Channel 22 with our sideline reporter, Brandon Nash. Brandon.
Thanks, Rufus. Down here on Hellcat Field with Coach Hotelling after the Cougars lost to St. Bonaventure 35-18. Coach, with all the effort and all the heart that your guys put in to tonight, it's tough that there has to be a loser in the game of football. Where do you go from now with your team with all the emotion that was involved in this season?
Well, we pick up. We start on Monday. Like I told the boys, I said we've come a long way in 4 months. It's not just football. It's their whole life, and I'm trying to be a role model for them and just try to be the best man I can and try to show these boys what it means to be a man. And hopefully by teaching them that, that'll show them, you know, what type of football player they need to be. I think if we learn both lessons, we'll be better off in the long run.
First year head coach, Coach Hotelling, and going to the second round of the playoffs. Coach, where do you go with your juniors and the sophomores, getting them started for next spring? How does it all start off, maybe to build upon this to get better for next year, maybe head to a championship?
Well, I told the juniors, I said, the seniors laid the foundation. Now we just need to build the house. So they're going to build this house. We're going to get back to where we were. You know, we were a very proud, rich in tradition program. We fell on some hard times the past couple of years. We're getting back to that. And like I told the seniors, this is the foundation, and everyone else has to build upon what they've started this year.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach. Great season this year.
Thank you, Brandon.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right now. There you have it, Rufus. It's tough for any senior. Either they go all the way to the championship, or if their season is cut short like tonight, it's always tough. A lot of emotions running through your body. But these guys put it all out there. They were the underdog pretty much all season, undefeated league run, and had a tough game tonight here in the South Bay in the second round of playoffs. But we'll definitely see them next season to build upon what they've laid down here. Thanks a lot, and back to you guys upstairs.
Brandon, thank you very much. An excellent interview with Coach Hotelling. Let me just wrap up by mentioning echoing a couple of the themes that Coach Hotelling mentioned. First of all, he talked about the fact that Monday morning you start over. He talked about building character in these young men and understanding that you not only grow as football players, but you grow as people and as young men as well. And that's the first lesson, number one. He talked about the future of the program, acknowledging where they had come from. And we talked about it a little earlier. My partner, Michael Kennedy, mentioned the fact that this program had fallen on hard times the last couple of years, but there are some kids here who stuck with it, and they have returned in Coach Hotelling's first year the program to some of its former glory. He's looking forward to an even brighter future. Talked about the contribution of the seniors in this program, guys like Naha and others who've given of their time and effort and stuck through the lean years. Because a lot of folks, it's very easy to quit when things are down, but the tough guys, they stay until it turn around. So the seniors who are in the program, who've been with it the last couple of years, they finally earned a measure of respect that they can conclude their high school career knowing that they went out as champions, 5-0 in league play. One champion, one league went undefeated, made it advance to the second round. So there are a number of positives they take away. And as he said, the future now is in the hands of the juniors and the sophomores and those kids on the freshman team who played this year to continue what has been built upon. Coach Hotelling has come in. He accepted the challenge as a first-year coach here in the program, and he and his entire staff did a wonderful job with this Hawthorne Cougar program this year. So it's something that the entire community will go away being proud of, and we congratulate and salute them. So one more time for our entire crew at Lawndale Hawthorne's Community Cable Channel 22. And from my broadcast partner, Michael Kennedy, I'm Rufus Washington saying it's been a real pleasure being with you this gridiron season, and we hope that you will join us as we prepare for the basketball season. I'm told that our coverage will start in January. Fans, we plan to bring you a whole lot of it. Let me mention one last time. We've got a lot of community events in the month of December that we know that you'll want to get out and see right here in the Lawndale Hawthorne area. So for everybody at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 22, as we sign off for another great football season, thanks again a million for being here. We do it for you, and we appreciate your viewership and your support of our programming. For the entire crew, I'm Rufus Washington saying it's been fun, and we'll see you in basketball season. Good night.